All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PT on Ice Daily Show. My name is Jeff Moore, currently serving as the CEO of ICE, lead faculty for our cervical spine and lumbar spine management courses. Great to have everybody here on a Thursday. So it is Thursday. Every Thursday is Gut Check Thursday. If you haven't seen it yet, I believe Alan posted the workout last night or yesterday afternoon. It is another memorial WOD bringing attention to the Black Lives Matter movement. This time for Breonna Taylor. It's a chipper and it's spicy. So we've got 26 deadlifts, 26 hang power cleans, 26 front squats, 26 shoulder to overheads. But if that wasn't bad enough, every minute, including zero, you've got 6 burpees. I saw Aaron Perez already knocked it out. Not sure who else has gotten after it. Recommended weight, prescribed weights are 135.95, but certainly get something on the bar that you can move through because those burpees are going to sneak up on you. If you spend 20 seconds doing burpees, 30 seconds every minute, you don't have a whole lot of time left to work. So I think the goal was to be under 15 minutes. So you're going to have to hammer to achieve that. So hopefully everyone is able to do that. If you do get through that workout, please make sure to tag Ice Trained, Ice Physio, Black Lives Matter, and make sure to get some awareness out there. If you don't know the story of Breonna Taylor, make sure to catch up on that. I'm sure, and I certainly hope that everybody at this point has done so. But if you haven't, just take a little bit of time and make sure you do today. So welcome everybody. I'm happy to have you here on Thursday. Oftentimes we do Leadership Thursday, but today I really want to share, just because it's such a big part of my life right now in telehealth. So we've been doing telehealth for, well, the better part of a year now with Onward. And obviously it's grown a lot as interest has grown in the past few months with the COVID era and restrictions loosening and more providers of every discipline, not just physical therapy, but all disciplines really getting more engaged in telehealth, which has then brought it front of mind for so many patients. So we're seeing now just overall so many more people are familiar with it, willing to utilize it, and quite satisfied when they do. So we are offering telehealth. If you go to onwardphysio.com, you can see all the states, but I want to say we're up to 14 states now. So we offer telehealth across quite a bit of the map. So for me, every Wednesday is telehealth day. So I see all patients now via telehealth, and it's been a blast. And I've got a lot to share about it. But what I want to share today are 2 apps that I lean heavily on that I think dramatically increase the quality of the telehealth experience. This is really important because I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm afraid that telehealth is going to be something that we leaned on in the short term, right? When all the clinics had to shut down or restrict who could be inside the building, or patients were concerned about coming to physical therapy. And so we offer telehealth as a kind of way to bridge that gap, right? And put a Band-Aid on it. And that was fine. But I really hope now that we pause and say, you know what? There are a lot of people that love this, and there are a lot of people whose issues are extremely well addressed and maybe even better addressed. And when I say that, I think about chronic pain patients who, in the privacy of their own home, are able to really connect with you on that subjective exam and tell their whole story and just feel safe and feel comfortable and have time and space for that. And I have found that those particular patients where, the manual component, the hands-on component might not be as critical, but you're able to have them in a space where they really feel comfortable and safe, and you have a lot of time to prioritize that subjective exam and their programming and graded exposure and walk them through and develop these plans. I feel like that subgroup is one in particular that responds extraordinarily well to this medium. And again, they don't have the hassle of having to get to you and go through all the aspects of being in person, and yet they can leverage from you the majority of what they really need. So I hope that we identify these subgroups and then decide that we are going to offer telehealth services ongoing forever, and not just offer them any services, but perfect them in the same way that we get obsessive about perfecting our clinical care. We know that excellence looks different, and we have the ability now, the knowledge is out there to deliver services in that virtual medium that are truly exceptional. The platforms are incredible, right? All of us are streaming at very high speed, so the connection's incredible. The ability to share documents is effortless, right? To drag and drop into these windows and share videos and go over patient documents. Like, it is such an engaging atmosphere, and I really hope that either you have a chance to jump into Rob Vining's course with us, or you have another way to really increase and level up your skill set, because this is a viable arm of your business that should grow for the next decade. And I hope that's the case. So here are two telehealth apps that I use almost every visit. Certainly for persistent pain patients on the first one, everybody on the second one. So the first one is called Curable. Now, if you have not been exposed to the Curable app, or you've never heard any background on it, I want to point you to two episodes. So many of you know that I run the Pain Reframe podcast with Tim Flynn and Liz Pepin and Adam Ryan. And we have had the CEO of Curable on that platform. It's episode 34. I looked right before I hopped on here. It's episode 34 is John Gribben's episode. John is the CEO of Curable, and he introduces and discusses everything behind the app, kind of why it was built, how it was built, how they made it so incredibly engaging. And then we had Laura Sago on episode 135, and she's the director of all the content. And again, she dives even deeper into how they develop the platform. And again, when I say engaging, what I mean by that is when you log into Curable, and here's what makes it unique. Basically, your patient gets a pain coach. Her name is Clara, right? But she interviews the patient. So your patient answers questions about kind of their experience, things they want more information on, concerns they have. So they literally get interviewed by this pain coach who's extremely engaging, very kind, really, really fun to interact with. And then it walks them through the basic neuroscience, right? And explains how hurt doesn't equal harm, but does it through stories and does it in a way that is non-threatening. And again, what I want you to picture is where your patient's receiving this information, meaning physically, right? When you're doing it through telehealth and you're using things like Curable, they're doing it at their own pace in an incredibly unthreatening environment. I'm not saying that your clinic environment is threatening. I am saying that when you're in a relatively busy clinic and you're in person, right, and you have a certain amount of time and the patient knows another patient's out there, like, we're doing our best to make that environment therapeutic. For this kind of information, I think when your patient is sitting out on their porch, right, relaxed in their favorite chair with no pressure, and they're able to absorb this content at their own pace, there is something particularly therapeutic about that allows them to work through as much as they would like, right? If they're really feeling on that day they can tolerate a lot of information, really want to drill down, they can. If it's a day where they want to just kind of dabble in it, they can. The point is, the environment of receiving that information and being walked through, I think, is particularly advantageous. And so that's one of the areas the app starts, is explaining pain to these individuals. But then from there, you can go in a ton of different directions inside of the app, and the app will guide you as far as what you feel like you need, where you want to explore more. That might be more information on the neuroscience of pain. That might be activities directed at understanding that information. That might be expressive writing. So one of the most powerful components of the app is actually the expressive writing. And if you go back and listen to Liz and I talking to Laura Sago on the episode, she says she feels that is really the part where everything changes. When the patient really engages on that expressive writing component and dives into it, even though it's pretty uncomfortable, that seems to be the moment where the patient really begins to get around the corner. So bringing the patient through these expressive writing exercises is really therapeutic. Now, all of that is what I would kind of say I would expect an app to have. But there's other features of Curable that I think are powerful. One of those is these abilities to engage when you're currently in pain. So there's a lightning bolt on the app that you can hit, and it walks you through, first of all, breathing to kind of just calm things down, but then you can go through panic busting exercises. So like it's, I can't remember, maybe 10, 12 minutes, that if you're in a panic attack, how you can confront that and breathe through it and learn from it. It literally walks you through this. Additionally, there's guided meditations on there. There's visualizations on there. So when your patient is having a moment of crisis where they're just really struggling, they can tap into that app and have it walk them through all of that. It's priceless, because now your patient has these tools right at their disposal. They know they can use anytime. And I have found that after our telehealth sessions, I immediately get them logged into Curable, and they begin working through it at their own pace, and they are consistently reporting, this has been such a wonderful tool to be able to work with. Okay, the cool thing, you can go to curablehealth.com right now, and you can get your patient 6 weeks of free Curable, all access to the app through Curable Connect. So you can log in right now and you can get that for all of your patients. Now, if they want to continue using it beyond that, then they can subscribe. But 6 weeks is a long time. Like most of our patients, we see them once a week for 4 to 6 weeks. So oftentimes the entire time that I'm seeing them, they've got the Curable app entirely free, and they're working through it and bringing back questions. You know, hey Jeff, Clara said this, what are your thoughts on that? And that opens the door that we always talk about with the motivational interviewing process of getting that patient to bring in questions versus you always bombarding them with information. So now they're coming in saying, hey, I was working through an exercise, I bumped into this, or I didn't understand this, can you clarify that for me? Imagine how much richer that makes your real-time consult. So, okay, that's number one is Curable, especially with patients who have chronic pain. The other one is Switchback, and I want to pause and just say how much I feel that this is an area in both in-person sessions and virtual sessions that we tend to drop the ball, and that is home exercise prescription. If you look at how physical therapy has delivered home exercise prescription over the past decade or two, it is very fair to say that we could do a better job, right? As far as limiting it to only exercises the patient really believes are useful, right, and really believes are going to help, and hopefully has even had that proven to them through retest methodology. So limiting it in number and limiting it in relevance, and then creating engagement. Right, so individualizing it and creating engagement that increases compliance. So all of those things do not happen by handing the patient a big list off of your printer on a piece of paper that has 12 exercises that are all about this big, right, that are not individualized to the individual. Or if they are, that means you scribbled on the picture and tried to like redraw the leg. We have a long ways to go in this space. And I think it's a big part of the reason that our compliance is not where it could be. So Cure Switchback, right? Or Q Switchback. So Curable and Switchback. So Switchback was developed by Dave Townsend, and we've actually had the luxury at Onward to consult with Dave a bit over the past few months in working with him to even level up this app to another position where we can all use it across the country. Now, here's what I love about it. It covers all the gaps that we just talked about. So here's the way I do this in real time. So I'm on my phone right now on Facebook, but normally I would have the patient on my computer in front of me going through our telehealth session, right? Now at the end of it, all I do is I say, hey, Nancy, I'm going to go ahead and roll this video, and I want to show you what I want you doing at home. So then I've got Switchback on my phone. So I just hit record on here and I say, okay, Nancy, here's what I want you doing. Now with this first exercise, I want the elbow at your side, right? I want you turning slowly. Here's the dosage I want. Here's what you should be feeling, right? Here's a modification. All of that is being recorded. Then when we're done with that, I just hit close here, and that sends that exercise to the patient's Switchback app on their phone in real time. So now on their side, they're receiving this video that we are building for them, individualized for their home program. So then I say, Nancy, the next one's going to be yada, yada, yada. Record. Here's what it looks like. Here's what I want you considering. Here's what you should feel. Here's the dosage. Stop. I can punch in all my dosage content, and then boom, it shows up on the other side. Now, that right there I love. I love how easy that builds into a telehealth visit, and I love the patients getting videos of me on the other side individualized to them. The big thing to me is that it's so superior to emailing the patient. Because the problem is if you see somebody like 5 times and you send a new email every time, now they're like, okay, hold on. So I'm supposed to do the second two from that March 2nd email you sent, but now I want to add this one on. And if they want to review them, they're shuffling back through their email, trying to figure out which ones they're supposed to still be doing, as opposed to pulling their app up, having their videos right there. We can remove the ones they're not supposed to be doing. And now every time we can shuffle that and they open it up, boom, here's their home program. They can play through the videos. They can refresh and watch them again. And again, it's efficient, it's individualized, it's organized. One more really key thing, you can message with the patient. So they can watch it, try it, and they can either ask me a question. Hey, Jeff, I didn't catch that, man. I tried it. It felt kind of weird. Even better yet, they can shoot a video of them and send it to me through Switchback app. So they can say, hey, here's what I'm doing. How does that look? And as all of you know in this job, even though you have tried to give good instructions, there's times they send things and you're like, wow, that is not what I was going for, right? So now you can video back and forth or text message back and forth. It's all HIPAA compliant and you can make sure they're doing it right. Additionally, every time they do it, they can swipe, they did it. So you can watch your client's progress in real time. You can watch when they're not doing it, right? So if your patient's never reporting compliance on their HEP, you can reach out with a quick text. Hey, Laura, I see you're not knocking out those exercises. What's up? Right? Maybe Laura's just busy. Maybe she wasn't really all that bought in. Maybe she has a question, but now you can reach out and say, hey, I realize you're not doing it. I guess I'm curious why. What can I clarify for you? Anything that you need to see again that would make this make more sense. That is home exercise delivery in 2020, right? It's video driven. It's highly individualized. It's extremely engaging. It's communication forward. And that, I think, is the missing piece in a big way of why we don't get compliance and thus why we don't get outcomes. And Switchback does an incredible job of really plugging that for us. So, and again, similar to Curable, your patient can use it for free. So if you go on to switchbackhealth.com, your patients can get, I think it's 30 days, a full month, where you can use it for, not your patients. Your patients always get it for free, but usually the operator or the clinician pays a monthly subscription, but you can have the first month free. So go try this stuff and just see if using things like Curable and using things like Switchback can really level up the amount of immersion and connection that your patients feel in this telehealth platform. Because that's what we've got to get, right? The thing that might be missing a bit in not having them in person is that feeling of connection. Let's leverage technology and see if we can't get as close as possible to what we do in person, and then maybe even make that information deliverable in a format that might even be more comfortable for some of your patients. The opportunity here is endless, and I'm enthusiastic about it because we tend as physios to not really capitalize on emerging markets and opportunities. And I feel like this one is so in our wheelhouse. And we always complain about access, right? And I look at what we can do with telehealth and virtual rehab. We can reach everybody, and we can reach them right away. And as all these years have gone by and us talked about, oh, patients never come see us first, right? By the time I see them, it's been forever, right? They go and they're overly medicalized and they've got nocebo and maladaptive beliefs. This might be our big chance. If people think physio rehab virtual, real easy and convenient and engaging, and they're like, you know what, I'll try that first. That sentence, right? What if people started thinking, well, I'll try that first. That sounds easy. I'll start there, right? Now we get them started there. It's engaging. It's professional. It's comfortable. Sure. Maybe a certain percentage of those folks needs to wind up getting some in-person care. No biggie. Now you're driving that care. They don't have maladaptive beliefs, right? You met them where they were, and now you can get them to a really high quality provider. They can execute the in-person visits, and you're avoiding any of the unnecessary over-medicalization because we capitalize on this platform. All right, enough from me on that. I think it's a monster opportunity. I think apps like this are what change it from being okay or good to excellent and maybe even better. Everybody have a great Thursday. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions on either Switchback Health, Switchback app, or Curable, by all means, let me know. Respond underneath this video. ptonice.com for all the courses. Everybody go out there and get after it. I hope you have a chance to hit the Memorial Wad. Black Lives Matter, Breonna Taylor, heck of a chipper. Gonna be a bit of suffering, and that's probably appropriate. All right, team, go get some.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.